try to make it as easy. I try to make it as easy on myself to get the numbers and the quotes as possible. And so I dropped in the chat. I don't know if everybody can see it, but there are three pieces of paper that I keep with me before I even start trying to bundle somebody. Okay. So I'm all about keep it simple. So the first one is going to be a simple height and weight chart. A lot of you guys get declines just because of height and weight, and then you're spinning your wheels trying to figure out what they have when there's really nothing wrong other than their height and weight. So I keep mutuals in front of me. If they can't, in the maximum with mutual, most of the time it's not going to work anywhere. It's really close because they're pretty giving. Okay. So the second thing that you're going to see in the drop down is the Heartland Home Health Guide. Okay. And like I said, it's just the same guide when you open it up that I have in front of me, I keep in front of me. All I did was highlight the main points of it. And then the third one is going to be the Manhattan 24-hour guide. Okay. So I always keep those right in front of me. Now, anybody who is selling outside of Texas, we have a running sheet. It is a Google Doc sheet, and I've already done all the work for you guys. So to where it will tell you, it's called State Cross Sell. So that way you know exactly what states the products are available. If you're on this call and you're not in that Google Doc, if you will drop your email right now in there, I'll get you added to it. Okay. So it's for all of the states. Now it is a live document. So sometimes if Heartland or Manhattan decide that they are going to add a product, I will go in and update it there. Okay. And so, but you'll see the products. I have everything from Forrester's, Heartland, both their main products. Yes, I will drop those again, and I'll probably have to do it a few times, Connie. So if you see new people, just holler at me so I can keep dropping the documents.
No, wait till
Problem,
the end, if
the
anything.
documents that you dropped in, you sent them to me, not everybody.
Oh, well, that doesn't do any good. Okay, try this again. So these are those brochures. Like I said, I use all of these every single appointment. Our office is trained to use these. If you visited my office, I literally print these and laminate them for you while you're here. Okay, so they're very important because this is going to sound like a lot of information, but when you can just read it off the sheet, it's really not bad. I don't have this memorized when I'm working with a client. Okay. So the other thing is when I am quoting my IUL, I like to, depending on, I have two carriers. So most of the time, what I do is I will either use Mutual of Omaha or I will use AmAm. The thing with Mutual of Omaha, all of you have your phones. You can literally download the Mutual phone quoter right there on your phone. You don't have to put in anything to get access to that on your phone as an app. And that way you can start getting numbers very quickly, right? So that's what we do here. And I always tell them, I don't say, when I'm giving a price, I don't say, hey, Hunter, this is going to cost you $84.52, right? I'm like, hey, it's going to be around. As long as you use that fun word around, people are not going to get upset if you're a little higher or if you're lower. Okay. So the key is when you're bundling, don't back yourself into a corner that you can't get out. Okay. If someone tells me that they can only afford $100, I'm not even getting $102. Okay. We have to respect people's budget when they tell us that. I know Carmen had a sweet lady the other day. She was telling me like it's $30. I'm like, then Carmen, you cannot be $30.05. It's got to be $30 or $29.95, right? So when people share that with you, it also shows them what kind of person you are and salesperson you are, right? If you make them really stretch their limit. Okay. So the other thing is when I'm starting, does everybody on here have and Monica, you may have to help me, are booking sheets. Okay. And Christina, I know you just got on here. I'm going to redrop some documents again. And if you guys see people, feel free to help me out and keep dropping them in for me. We want everyone to have them. And Monica, if you can go ahead and drop in the chat our booking sheets. So when I'm running the appointments, some of them I can run live, but what we like to do is we like to book the appointment first. So what's really important, if I on our booking sheets, and I'll use one that's right here that I've already sold. It's gonna have, you're gonna see all my scribbles and all my things on here, okay? And Monica's gonna drop one in the chat for us, but I know the health problems before I call the client. That's huge, you guys, because if you can take the stress out of the underwriting side out of what we do, and I can know ahead of time, hey, they're diabetic, red flag, hey, they're overweight to the weight chart, especially when you start bundling, it will take a lot of stress off of you to where you'll know exactly what carrier to go to, okay? So I've already got their height, their weight, what meds they're on, if they're smoker, non-smoker. Now, with some of it, when you guys start this, I'm all about keep it simple for me. So what I do in our cross-sell sheet, which Hunter, I'll probably share my screen a little bit here. I just requested if you can let me share that. Okay. So this is that Google Doc that if you guys are not in, you need to drop your email in the chat so I can get you to it, okay? This is going to tell me all the states right here that what's available and what's not. So, I mean, you're going to see these red ones where it's like there's not going to be no cross-selling there except for accidental, okay? Now, all of these states you'll be able to do like a mutual accidental. So if you get, one of these crazy states from the north, most of the time it's up northeast, we can still sell them an accidental and that counts as a bundle as well. But it's going to just be that IUL with an accidental, okay? So this is a running sheet. Sometimes these states will come in. They are working on some of them. If you notice up here at the top, it's going to say minimum price, okay? So this is for the basic plan, just bare minimum what the price is. So we've already got that down for you as well. If you know what the price is, how easy is it for us to go ahead and do this bundle while we're on the phone, right? Now, don't freak out if it's like Manhattan. I know for sure it's never going to be more than $35.31. It's not going to be. I've done the math. I've ran all of these things. It just is not going to happen. So what happens if it comes back at $32? It's not a big deal, you guys. People are happy with it being less, where you may stumble as if it's more. So always give yourself grace and space when you're trying to bundle these products together, okay? So I always, when it comes to if I'm running an IUL, I'm always going to add off of their age. So if somebody is 55 and up, I'm going to add $60 a month as long as they have Manhattan and Heartland in their state. Okay, so just to clarify, I've got the IUL or the final expense, whichever type of product you're selling, it's going to depend on their health. Then I'm going to, whatever my quote is from, let's say, American Amicable, for that product, all I'm doing is adding $60. I'm not spending that time, you guys, going to Manhattan and running the numbers and then going to Heartland and running the numbers. So let me explain how this works. On your hospital indemnity, okay, when I am doing this, what I do is if they are over, let's say, 65, okay, it's going to be more expensive, right? The same side as life insurance. The older someone gets, the insurance company is going to charge them. Fair? So instead of $60, I may bump it up to $70. Does that make sense? I'm never going to undercut myself. Now, if you guys have a client that, was like Carmen's client and is like, it's $30 and that's it, You have to respect that. So maybe you can get them $50 a day, right? Like you just have to work with the numbers. But to keep it simple when you're starting out, I go off of age. So if they are over 65, I am adding, whether it be to the final expense price or the IUL price, $70. If they are under 65, it's $60. Keep it simple. So I'm going to kind of do a run through with you guys. This may, it may go over your heads. It may not. You may be right with me. But if you guys look at the documents, I promise you'll see exactly what I'm doing. Okay. So Hunter, you're going to help me out. You're going to be my driver. Okay. And I'm going to have already built the rapport. I already know all of his health. Okay, everybody? So I'm going to, Hunter, we're going to say that you are 50 because it's just going to keep you, he's not 50, but he's going to be 50 for this example. And I can only do that to my husband, right? Nobody else can be making him older. But so, Hunter, it looks like I got you down here at 50 years young. Is that right?
That's right.
Perfect. So, and I'm going to share, you're going to have to let me share screen again, Hunter. I'm going to share off of the illustration for mutual. So you guys can see my screen. This is literally what I do every single day with every single client. Okay. Can you let me share, Hunter?
Already. There it
Okay.
goes.
Okay. So we're going to say he's 50. I got to know his state of Texas. Non-smoker. We're going to say he's going for 100,000. So what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm going to write down the 100,000. And how many options do we normally give people? Anybody see me do? There you go, Connie. I see it. I didn't hear it, but I looked up at the right time. I saw it. 3. So I'm going to do 100,000. Now, when I'm quoting, okay, I always try to make sure that I can give them an option around $100. Most people are comfortable with $100. Now, if it's a final expense and, you know, maybe it's less, we can go lower. But what I'm doing is I'm going to just write down these prices while I'm still building rapport with my driver. Okay. Then I'm going to do a 75. And then I'm going to still do a 50. Now, the worst thing that's going to happen is someone's going to say, well, Connie, you can only give me 100,000. Like, is that the max? No. But would you guys like someone to show you when you're selling something affordable, or would you like them to swing for the fences and give you some crazy quote? Anybody? All right. Hunter, what would you like?
Affordable.
Thank you. Most people, and it's going to tell who you are, okay? You guys, like, as they're going to know if you're a slimy salesperson. Like, I could max this out right here, right? I'm not saying don't show it, but you got to give them something that's more affordable. So all I've done is get this mutual quote. Now, he is, for this example, he's 50. So somebody tell me how much I'm adding to this mutual quote to add the Heartland and Manhattan. Anybody?
60.
There you go. I'm glad we got this. Okay. So what number am I going to tell him for the $100,000 package?
195.
There you go. So, and then this is how I explain it. All I'm doing, again, you guys, I'm going to go off of this quote. So if I'm looking it up for the 75,000, I'm going to get the quote for 75. Again, all I'm doing, taking this price and adding $60. That's it. Sometimes a lot of agents make it just too hard and too complicated. Let's just make it easy. Don't start adding things outside of Heartland and Manhattan until you get Heartland and Manhattan down. Okay. Like where I'm at, I'm totally comfortable. We can add dental, vision, hearing, we can add cancer, right? But in order for you to start, you have to start simple. Don't make it complicated. Okay. So same thing when I get my price for the 50,000. This is, and this right here, you can get this as an app on your phone if that's easier for you. Okay. So again, we're adding that 60 bucks. So this is how I'm going to present it to Hunter. And this was for an IUL. All right, Hunter, I've gone to work for you and it looks like I was able to find you 3 different options. Now I'm going to go over exactly what's built into this. The only difference in these 3 options is going to be that face amount, okay? So
Okay.
let's start. I always start in the middle so I can go up and down, but you guys can do what you want. Now, Hunter, so for the first package I want to go over with you, it's going to be for 75,000. So in the event, if you were to pass away for any reason, it's going to pay 75,000. If you were to pass away in an accident of any kind, that doesn't matter if you're at work or at home, it's going to pay out 125,000. It's going to also include critical illness. That's going to be like cancer, heart attack, stroke, chronic illness. If you can't perform 2 out of 6 of those daily living activities, such as bathing, dressing, eating, or any terminal illness, you're going to get up to 50% of that up front, all in a lump sum, and that's non-tax. So roughly about 37,000. Okay, Hunter?
Okay.
Now, also, we're going to make sure that you have a very nice accidental package as well. So in the event, if you are hospitalized due to an accident, now remember, Hunter, this is an accident on the job, off the job, any type of accident. It's going to pay you $600 a day up to 31 days. Okay. Now, if you have an accident that is not, or if you just end up in the hospital not from an accident, it's going to pay you $300 a day for 31 days. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you, Hunter. So all I'm doing, and I'm going to just read these sheets, y'all, literally. So this is boring, but this is what I do every day. So on that accidental, if you have any medical expenses due to an accident, not just in the hospital, but any x-rays, anything like that, it's going to pay up to 4,000. If you have any air or ground, so you go by ambulance or care flight, heaven forbid, you're going to get up to 10,000 for that. If you have any dismemberment, loss of fingers, toes, there's a wide range here, Hunter. So an additional 1,000 up to 20,000. And then of course, if you were, heaven forbid, to pass away, it does pay out that extra 50,000 as well. So that whole package, Hunter, for the 75,000, that's going to run $164 a month. Now, if you were looking for a little less coverage, same benefits, but that face amount's only going to be 50,000. That's going to run about $132 a month. Or if you were looking for 100,000 in coverage, that's going to run right about $196 a month. So Hunter, out of those 3 options, what do you think best fits your need and your budget?
Any of them.
Any of them? Perfect. Well, I want to make sure that I put you in something comfortable. I'm not trying to take food off your table or make this to where it's an inconvenience for your family. I'm trying to protect you. So monthly for you, should we just stick to the middle ground around 164?
Is that all I can get?
No, actually, we can build this out so many different ways. I just need you to kind of tell me, Hunter, what are you looking to pay monthly?
That one that's close to 200 is probably good.
Okay. So does everybody see this isn't hard? I promise it's not hard. It sounds hard because it's new. Does that make sense? It's because you haven't done it before and we're trained in insurance that the product is just this price and only sell one. But if you'll look outside of that and realize that you don't want to be the agent that's in front of the client and they have an accident and they could have been getting, $300 a day, $600 a day, 4,000 medical expenses.
So what was the bottom package for the life insurance only?
For just the life insurance for the 50,000
Yeah.
was $72 a month.
Okay, and then you added 35 for the accidental.
I just added a straight 60 across because you
Right,
were under.
but you know it's 35 for 2 units. So
Yes.
show them on your Heartland physically, that way they can see it, what you do with Heartland to make those numbers add up to $60.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go. And normally, guys, what I do is I do not write the Manhattan while I'm on the phone with the client because the signature is just a mother's maiden name. So I've already asked them all these same questions already. So it takes the pressure off of you and the client doesn't have to keep hanging on the phone. Okay. So I will share my screen. Now, y'all remember I just did a flat $60. Okay.
Which one did you say only requires the mother's maiden name?
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Any of the Manhattans, yes. So I always write that at the end because I know I have to get my signature on my IUL or my final expense, and I have to get my signature on the Heartland. Or you can do mutual, hospital indemnity, whichever one you choose. I like Heartland. Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys what the actual numbers would be on this. Okay. Made you 50.
Hey, Emily.
Yes.
Yeah, I was late to the party, but so you initially started this with a $50,000 life insurance?
Yes. IUL. So this is how I'm
Yeah.
bundling.
So the script on that you have on, as you're explaining, it's super smooth. I mean, it's just like even I wanted to buy one. I was
Yeah,
like,
of course.
wow.
How much can you afford?
That's right. And you guys got to remember, anytime you're selling any type of insurance, I don't care what it is, we're assuming the sale. You're not talking to me to waste my time. You're talking to me because I'm meeting a need that you came to me for. So it's not about are we doing this? It's we are doing this. Okay. So when you see this quote, can everybody see this price of 1860? Okay. So we're going to take our math here. We're going to do our 72 for our IUL. We know our Manhattan is 3531. And the total I gave them was 132. Okay. This is how much money I have to play with, y'all. I got 2469. So, couple of things. If Hunter was the type of client that was like, hey, I've really got to be, I can't be more than 132, we can write this. Still going to have his $300 a day. He's still going to like it, but it's going to be 24 bucks less. Or what we can do is we're going to fill this in because I know I've got 2469, roughly $25 to play with. Okay. So a lot of times your cancer, I always like to give extra cancer coverage just because it's more likely that they're going to get cancer, right? So look at that. I added 5,000 in cancer. I had 2469, and this is 2460. How much happier is my client going to be? Hey, not only, Hunter, did I get you all of these benefits, but I was able to add an additional lump sum, 5,000 in cancer in that as well. And we're still going to be under budget. Does everybody see that? If you don't, or you have questions, ask, because I promise that this is easier than what a lot of times we overcomplicate it to be. Okay. Any questions so far?
I have a question. At what point do you tell them that they're getting 3 different policies?
I explain it in the process. So because I'm selling them a package the whole time, right? The whole time, Doris, I've built out this package for you. And then once it goes to the signature page, that's when I start. Like I'm already collecting his app with Mutual. And I'm going to tell him, okay, this is your first part of your package. This is going to be with Mutual. This is for whichever way, IUL, final whole lot, whatever it is going on. So I'm going to say, I need this first signature now. This is for your IUL portion. Once you get that signed, because while they're signing that, I'm going to go ahead and fill out Heartland because that's the only other signature I have to have while they're on the phone. Okay. So I'm going to start it and I'm going to tell them, while you get that signature for me, I'm going to start on your hospital indemnity from Heartland. Then after the phone is when I'll do the Manhattan. So I'll explain to them at the very end, this is what we got you approved for, Doris. And this, you got an amazing package. So the prices, whatever the IUL is or the final expense, whatever the amount is, that's what I'm calling their package. So if it's a $50,000 whole life, I'm going to say, Hunter, this was the package we built for you for the $50,000 in coverage. Okay. Whatever the main product is, because here's the thing. Everybody on here, you're going to make the most money on your life insurance. Okay. On bundling, the most money you're going to make is on the life insurance. So you want to make sure that your life insurance price, you don't want to take from that, is what I'm getting at. Does that make sense? Okay. So the other thing is that once you give them the breakdown, so on this one, instead of like 132, we're going to be like 131 and 2 cents or something close to that. I respected the client's budget. I got him exactly what I said I was going to do, plus an additional 5,000 right here for this lump sum cancer. Okay. And we stayed in his budget. How happy do you think the client's going to be? Now, again, if you guys don't look at the brochures or you don't have these, you're going to get tongue-tied and you're going to forget. None of us, I'm a really good multitasker. Those of you that have been in my office and seen all of the things that happen, just a gift I have. I understand everybody's not that way. But if you will keep the papers in front of you, it will just start to flow. Okay. So this is the other bundle that I want to go over with you, because some of us are selling final expense, or your client is only going to qualify for final expense. Okay. So we're going to transition over to the home health side. So what's important is, does everybody on here, has anyone on here not ran a quote for the home health? Hunter, whatever. I see you, Carmen. Okay, I see you, Ivan. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how easy this is. And I'm going to show you the page that everybody on here should be printing. Okay, I can't save it because it's a live website, right? But you guys can go like you're running this exact same quote and print this page. If your client can answer no to these 3 questions, they will get approved. Okay, the only trick is, if you have your little sheet in front of you, they do have to be 40. So it goes from age 40 up to 85. So here's the thing. Maybe my client cannot qualify for, the accidental or the hospital indemnity. Anyone who's 40 and up and can answer no to those questions, they can get this home health. Now, when I'm bundling the home health, I do it a little bit more expensive because it costs more. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys that. If you guys have questions along the way, you have to ask me. Okay. I don't mind, but I can't read anybody's mind on here. So if you have questions, you just got to ask me. So, okay, we're going to, this is just my personal, okay.
I'm
you
almost
guys,
old enough to purchase that.
I know, I'm so excited because you're getting one at 40. Whoop, whoop. So.
Rub it in, bro. Rub it in.
So you guys can choose. You're going to see these 3 options. Now, I don't want anyone on here to feel like, man, basic is just, it's not a good thing. Okay. If you have someone that has a tight budget, especially a senior, this basic package can still change their life. Okay. So, but I always try to sell the complete, just because if you guys have your form that I dropped in the chat, okay, if you look up at the top, you're going to see the 3 different options, because it goes by basic, standard, and complete on there. Okay. So, and again, if I know, if I'm bundling this with a final expense, let's say Hunter is choosing to get a $50,000 final expense, I'm still going to know final expense is going to be more expensive. So I'll go pull that quote, which we should be able to do really quick right here. We're going to go to Living Promise. Okay. We're going to say he's 45 because that's the minimum with Living Promise. All right, 122. So when I'm doing final expense, again, you guys, I still want to add to this because they need the hospital, they need that home health. Okay, so I'm gonna do, instead of a 50, a 40, and a 30.
So the
Okay.
home health, the reason she's doing the home health is there's a hospital indemnity rider. So you're trying to get your client the hospital indemnity, but they don't qualify for it because of the health questions. On the home health care, there's only what, 3 or 4 questions?
Yeah, there's just 3 questions. And the other thing is what this is going to do, any of you that are going to be selling final expense, you're going to put yourself in a different category from all of your competition because nobody else is going to be doing this. So when they call Connie's office and they're like, hey, I was looking for final expense coverage for $20,000, and then they realize that it also includes per day you're in the hospital and has those additional living benefits, who are they going to buy from? Because the other agent didn't even offer it. Does that make sense? So we're going to go back here. Now, this is not the price, okay? This is not the final price when you guys start getting comfortable with quoting, because I always am going to add the daily hospital benefit. And this is just what I do, okay? Like I said, if you have someone whose budget is really tight, you don't have to do this. But since we put Hunter in here at 40, he's going to get all the things. So $48 is what I'm going to add to his final expense. Now, this changes drastically on the rates. If we make him 65, then I'm probably going to add more like $60 or $70. Okay. Now remember, the amazing
I got a
thing about,
question.
yes.
Is there, like a age bracket rate that you can more or less remember? Like 40 to 45, it's more or less about this amount of price, and then 45 to 50.
Yeah, I would say 50 and under, we're going to keep it right here about $48. Okay. But you start getting up to like 65 and up, it's going to increase. Okay. So just give yourself some room. I haven't, I wrote one the other day for a 76-year-old, and I gave him everything, and it was $100, like everything. But again, they were 76, and I didn't just give them the basic. That was for the complete. Now, most of the time we're going this route on our life client because they already have health issues. Fair. This is for your final expense. So I know they already have prescriptions that they're paying for, and they've already told me. So on this brochure, okay, this is another reason why you got to keep it in front of you. They're going to get, for the whole year, if they do the complete, up to $720 back in their pocket. Okay. So you have to remember that's a huge selling point from people who are on a lot of medication. And it doesn't matter if the prescription, like if they're on great insurance and it's paid for and they don't pay for it, we can still submit it and get them paid because they filled a prescription. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take you guys to the next screen that this is what everybody needs to go to and print and have this handy. Okay. I can't drop it in the chat because this is like a live web page, but these are your only questions that you have to answer no to be able to qualify. So I want you to think about the people in your life that you know maybe reached out to you in the past, that maybe they had cancer, maybe they had something horrific happen, and they're really limited on what coverage they can get. Are you currently receiving assistance or supervision for your daily living activities? Okay. Are you currently, not in the past, these are all current, receiving home health care services in a rehab, nursing, or assisted living? Within the past 12 months, have you been diagnosed, been prescribed medicine, or received medical advice from a licensed healthcare professional for Alzheimer's, dementia, or memory loss? And this bottom one is only if you're doing the complete package, okay? So think about that as well. If you are doing the basic or the standard, this question does not apply. In the next 60 days, do you expect to be admitted to a hospital, nursing home, or assisted living? As long as they can answer no, they will qualify for this product. So what we do, we have this printed right in front of us, so there's not a question. Okay, because even if you have a client that has to go guaranteed issue, as long as they're not currently in a facility and they don't expect, now this is for the complete package, this goes away if they do standard, but in the last 12 months, they have not, been discussed in any way with Alzheimer's, dementia, they are going to qualify for this product, y'all. Okay, so again, I would just print this right from the screen and keep it with all of your other brochures when you go to cross-sell this and add this to your, and then we're just going straight into the application here. Okay, so don't think that you guys can't bundle off a final expense. And the way I think of it is your final expense client is also going to be your Medicare client. They're also going to be your Heartland Hospital Indemnity, your home health. I mean, you shouldn't just be one-legged with any of your clients. And if you are, you need to go retouch that book of business, because the likelihood of them staying on the books, you guys, when you only have one piece of business, is unlikely. And what I try to train all of my agents, okay, Carlos, let's say your client somehow calls me. I have no clue they're your client. I don't, they're just talking to me and getting quotes. What is going to separate me from you? If you are only offering them final expense and you are only limiting them to one product versus me at least giving them the option up front. Does that make sense? People don't know what you sell until you offer it to them. They don't know that you can take care of them in these ways because we don't put ourselves out there enough to actually tell them, hey, I can take care of more than just your Medicare. I would love to take care of your Medicare. I want to take care of your whole family. But that's not enough in its own. Because at some point in your life, right, you're already dealing with seniors that are towards, the end, from the closer to the end than the beginning. Fair. We're all going to die one day, whether we, need that reality check or not. Hopefully, prayerfully, it's a long time from now, you guys. But the reality is it's going to happen. And not only that, it is highly likely that your seniors, they're going to need a home health aide in their house. How are they going to pay for that? Right? How are they going to pay for that? If they have a complete package, it's going to at least give them $150 a day. And I know that this sounds bad, but everybody's family is not willing to jump in and take care of them when they age. They're just not. That's why, nursing homes are full. Fair? Even if someone can have, maybe it keeps a senior out of having to go into assisted living because they have this $150 a day to be able to pay someone to come in and take care of them. I promise if you guys will just keep these in front of you and offer them, they will buy. We do it every day in this office, every single day. And my staff, Rachel and Monica, they're like, yeah, every single day. So you just have to get more comfortable with how you run the numbers, what pricing are you setting, and make it easy on yourself. So I want to leave time for questions because I know that this seems like a lot. I know that, but I promise if everybody on here got uncomfortable today and their appointments they had, I don't care what it's for, that you cross-sold one piece of business, you would take a sigh and be like, why haven't I done this with every single client that's been in front of me? I promise.
Let me add
So-
something just real quick.
Go ahead.
So I know Emily was just doing this for an example, but all three of her numbers were $100. So people go, man, how do you sell a $400 or $500 policy? Well, you have to show it. If you don't show it, you'll never sell it. So hers was like 135, 160, 190, right? So on the low end, you can show that 130. You know, maybe that's close to their budget, and then maybe somewhere around 200 or 300, and then the top one 400 or 500. If it goes that high, if they're young, it may not go that high, but sometimes the 131 doesn't look so bad when they see the top one is 600, right? Because they may not have been thinking, they might have been trying to keep it under $100, but they're like, crap, these things go up to 600. Well, the 130 doesn't look so bad now. So some people think differently. So I always show them something that I know they can afford, something that's a stretch, and then something that I think is way too expensive. Because sometimes the one that's way too expensive, they want it. I thought it was expensive because I was shopping out of my own pocket. If $600 is a lot for me, I just assume it's a lot for everybody, and it's not the case. So show the high numbers and don't shop out of your own pocket.
Do you ever apply the discounts like on those Heartland products? How it can give them that little discount? Do you apply it on your members also, or no?
Sure. And sometimes, I mean, it's not a huge savings, but still, like, and sometimes, to be honest with you, because we're not putting that in the quote, like sometimes maybe my final expense now got graded, right? Like maybe something comes back and I know everyone on here is shocked. Buyers do lie to you, right? I know I'm perfectly healthy. I'm going to qualify for everything. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I can only get you guaranteed issue. So I don't include that price intentionally in case I have to back down. Okay. Now, the other thing is too, you got to realize when you start bundling, if I know I'm working with a final expense, I'm going to make sure that they have that option for the home health, because especially think about this, those questions, 3 or 4, even if somebody has cancer, y'all, they can still get the home health as long as those 4 questions, right? Now, if they are going to be in the hospital in the next 60 days, then you can still get them the standard without that 4th question. So the 4th question, I mean, everybody on here, I know you have to know somebody that's had cancer or been really sick, and that can change their life. They don't know that they can get it because nobody's willing to offer it. So let that be, some encouragement on, if you will offer it, let them decide if it's out of their budget. Does that make sense? And I'm getting you guys added into the sheet. Were there any other questions? I know this was a lot.
And for the Manhattan, which one do you, well, I mean, after going through Heartland, which one is the pick on that part?
So it's going to depend on the state, right? So if they have a 24-hour, I'm always selling the 24-hour. Now the other accidental, it has a lot more stuff included. It's not like a downplay, but it's just a different price. So for me, I always include, because I know on the highest level, the 24-hour 2 unit is never going to cost more than $35.31 unless Manhattan decides to raise their rates, which they haven't. So, and if they do, I'll be the first to come on here and say, hey, it is now, $36 and whatever. But I've never had it higher than $35.32. So the same thing. And sometimes it works out for your benefit to where on the Manhattan, another reason why I'll do it at the end, Carlos, is because let's say their Heartland comes back way cheaper and it's like $12. And now I can go on Manhattan and I can keep adding products to get to that price of what I quoted them. So that way, I'm able to tell them, hey, Carlos, not only did I keep it in your budget, but now I added cancer, stroke, heart attack. You see what I'm saying? The key is, guys,